Step one, stop trying to be everything to everybody. You're not. Okay, you're fucking not. Go deep into the depths of your very soul and ask God, who am I? What am I good at? And after you ask God, then go ask your friends. Who am I? What am I good at? Start looking more deeply at what's unique about you. What is really unique about you. In fact, let me give a technicality here, okay? What makes a great public speaker or rapper, a public speaker or a rapper, is, do you remember back when you were a baby, before you got told that you're a bad little boy or girl, and you just moved how you wanted to move? Do you remember that? You remember how you just like did what you wanted? You acted from your soul. Do you remember back when you acted from your soul? Before you were told that it was bad, before you were told that it sucked, you acted from your fucking soul, and you found this there was just this way that you were. And you didn't audit it, you didn't micromanage it, you didn't hide it, you weren't ashamed of it. You just loved who you were. You ever seen a baby running around and they have these big, bright eyes because they haven't been suppressing themselves for decades and trying to manage themselves? Find that place in yourself. It's still in there somewhere. Beneath the layers of being beaten down and spaced out and suppressed, there's a soul. And when you reconnect with that soul, you will find so much joy in taking action and doing what you're here to do that you won't find it like work to want to build for others. You won't find that like work. You won't find it tiring. You will like what you do. You will enjoy giving your gift. You'll like it. Now, that gift can't be, I just love to roll in the mud, although to be fair, with social media these days, you never know. Okay? So your gift is the intersection between what is true to your soul and where there's an established business model in most cases, unless you're gonna pioneer something, which very few people could do, but I have and can be done. Now, okay, but when you're the pioneer, realize you won't get paid as much, but you'll be a pioneer, which is pretty cool. So pros and cons, okay? And in some cases, you can make a lot from it. But it's kind of like riding in another person's tire tracks versus walking through the woods without a trail. It's pretty tough. But I actually did it, believe it or not. You guys, probably a lot of you guys new to my stuff don't know that, but I actually did that. So, kind of crazy. Been a crazy ride, guys. So, okay. So you get in touch with that, what it is that you love, and then what you do is you study the business model behind it. All that time that you'd be spending looking at dumb shit, getting high, getting drunk, eating processed foods, gossiping, and wasting your time, you divert all that time onto getting razor sharp at what speaks to your soul and monetizing it. And what that means is that you work on product quality. Like, yes, you have a natural gift, but then you put in the time honing that gift, wanting to be the best that you can possibly be at that gift. And then what you do is, in addition to the gift, you learn the sales and the marketing around the gift. Don't believe in the Kevin Costner Field of Dreams movie, Build It and They Will Come. If you've ever seen that from the 80s, Build It and They Will Come. It's not Build It and They Will Come. I know incredible coaches who don't do social media, don't do sales, don't do marketing, and they are broke, okay? One of my best friends is in the back of the room right now, and she's like the smartest woman I ever met maybe my whole life, but she's not a millionaire yet because she's all about the quality, but she never learned marketing and sales. But if she then took 3 or 4 years and she learned marketing and sales, all of a sudden she'd be making more cash than any of us in this fucking room. I promise you, she'd lap us in so many ways. But she never learned the marketing and sales. So it doesn't matter because she learned marketing and sales. Brilliant, brilliant. One of the smartest women I ever met in my whole life, sitting around the room. But never learned sales and marketing. So the point being is that you've got to find what is true to you. Then what you do is you figure out how to monetize it. You master your craft, you sharpen the sword, and then you build the sales and marketing around it, okay? And you study the greats in that industry. So in other words, like, I'm a public speaker, right? How committed am I to my craft of public speaking?
Very.
What do you think?
No.
Who do you know that has done more free public speaking events than Owen Cook?
No one. No.
Pretty rare I speak in third person, but I'm making the exception this time, okay? Who do you know more than Owen motherfucking Cook that did more free events? Why did Owen Cook do so many free events? Why did I do it? Okay, look, at home, people can't hear how my voice carries. How would you guys describe the way that my voice carries in the room for people? Because the thing is, like, with the mic, right, at home, like, just say, hey, Owen, how's it going?
Hey, Owen, how's it going?
Okay, so how much louder am I than him? But in the mic, it will sound the same at home, right? So how did my voice get to the point that I can hold attention, that I can free associate, that I can project? Where did that come from?
Speaking.
Okay, why did I do free events specifically? Why? Because it gives me a complete carte blanche to be experimental, right? On a paid event, I take the best stuff from like every free event, and then I put into a paid event, and then I even take that out of the free events. But the point being is that I do free events so I can experiment, I can workshop, I do different personality. You'll notice in my free videos I have like a different personality every video. I have a different vibe, different tone. I'm just trying stuff. I'm just actively workshopping different things, right? Why? You ever see me do those live broadcasts? A lot of time people think those aren't live. On occasion, we'll preload them up, but they're usually live. Why do you guys think I do live broadcasts specifically? They don't do better views because they're live, by the way. So why do I do live broadcasts? Live. Think about it. Why do I do live?
Feedback.
So that it's not bullshit.
Because I want to be on the spot. It's like, cameras on, motherfucker. Go. Let's go. LFG, let's go. Right? It's like it's on. Like the camera's on. Everyone's watching. Got a couple hundred people watching you. Can't fuck it up. Gotta go. Let's go. Okay? So it's meant to be challenging. Okay? So I love my craft. So I have I'm not here in Houston right now to do this event. I'm here because I'm bringing my kids here. Anywhere that I bring my kids, I will go to cities where there's like 5 guys, and I will go do a 5-person free event in those cities, oftentimes if I bring my kids there. Why do I go do that? I promise you the time for dollars does not add up. Why am I doing a 5-person free event?
It's fun.
It's fun, but what else?
Write-off?
But what else? Yeah, but what else?
Practice.
Guys, I gave you the answer. Sharpen the motherfucking saw. Say that.
Sharpen the motherfucking saw.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't want to get out of work. You should want to work to sharpen the motherfucking saw. You know, it's like, oh, I just want to work less hours. No. You want to work less hours because you don't see the lane in your career. Like, you don't see how it's going to take you anywhere. If you knew that by you working more, you're getting better and better and better at what you're doing. So you can charge higher rates. So now you can take better vacations, eat more organic food, get better house, do cooler shit, provide more, do more, buy more, spend more. But also that other people would love it so much they would come up to you in tears saying, thank you, you inspired me, you changed my life. Like, your selfish desire to get paid more changed my life. Like, you doing something selfish changed my life. Think how cool is that, by the way? Right? Like, you making more cash and other people cheer for you and thank you for making more cash. That's the difference between a business like a McDonald's type business that actually poisons people versus something that's true to your soul and you love it and you're not in it for the money, but you did study the monetization model. And so, you don't want to be a starving motherfucking artist, right? Don't be, I always said to myself, I love the art, but don't be a starving motherfucking artist, right? Take 20% of your time and study sales and marketing top to bottom. So a big thing for me is whenever I'm waiting for an Uber, if the Uber is going to take more than 10 minutes, I challenge myself to make a 5K sale on a random person on the street, okay? You can use Zelle, whatever you want to use, right? And so I want to cold approach, and I want to make a 5K sale right off the street with someone who's never met me, okay? Now, people see me do that, and they're like, holy shit, you just made 5K waiting for the Uber. That's crazy. I'm like, this is not money because it's not a system. It's just it's a random one-off. You see where I'm going with this? It's time for dollars, just doing random sales, right? So it's not actually worth it for me to make that 5K because I could be building my business and working on the systems of the business at that time. But why am I going to go and do a random sale on the street? What's my reason for doing it? What's that? He got it. Say it, guys. Say it. That's all that I'm doing. I'm just sharpening the saw. In addition, I'm learning a skill because while for me, with my business, making 5K in 10 minutes is a waste of my time, for a lot of you guys, how would you like to make 5K in 10 minutes? Now, you're hearing this, you're going, oh no, that's impossible. That's impossible. And yet, how many of you have read Alex Hormozi $100 million offers? You'd probably be able to do it if you read Alex Hormozi $100 million offers, and yet you never read the book, right? So it's oh, that's a scam. That's a scam. That's a grant. You couldn't make 5K in 10 minutes, but the same motherfucker saying that never actually read Alex Hormozi's book and never went and actually implemented it. Alex Hormozi and I learned from the same marketing mentor, which is Dan Kennedy. I learned it many, many years ago. I've been applying it ever since. Alex Hormozi learned it. Alex Hormozi is giving his take and his spins that are very simplistic and practical on Dan Kennedy's work, which is actually a little bit more heavy and complex. Okay? So Hormozi got super famous by having a great personal brand, but also by taking the very, very complex Kennedy material and simplifying it so anybody could learn. But guess what? Now, you don't need to go through 900 hours of Dan Kennedy to learn that stuff. You could get it out of Hormozi's book. And you know the hilarious part is, that book was free for most of the time that it was out. I think he now charges for it, but as far as I recall, is it still free on Spotify?
Free on Spotify.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And yet, how many of you are breaking out your phones right now and downloading it? Oh, but you're not thinking to do it, right? Spiritual, baby. It's fucking spiritual, man. You're addicted to your personal hell. It's like, here's the way out of hell. Like I just told y'all, mate, that you can make $5K doing a quick sale before the motherfucking Uber gets there, and you're like, this seminar is life-changing. No, the seminar changed your life when you go replicate that result. Once you understand the basics of sales and marketing, you can do anything you want. So, okay, again, once you understand the basics of social skills, you can do anything you want. Okay, obviously consensually and in a win-win way. But you get my point, okay, for the one idiot in here that needs that. So, okay, there's one moron in here that is like, what, huh, win-win, what's that, okay? It has to be win, win, and consensual. Now, from that standpoint, so now what you do is you sharpen the saw, and you put all your time on that. So what you've done is you've turned off the selfish needs, and what you've done is you say, how do I serve other people? But you'll notice this. You don't see me, when I say learn how to serve other people, learning how to market and sell is learning how to sell, it is helping other people, okay? Because my success rate with free videos and with free tours is much, 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 much lower than my success rate out of my paid courses. So as a result of that, it's not helping anybody not learning sales and marketing. So my thought process all day is, how do I add value? How do I connect to more people? How do I relate to more people? How do I get better to increase my product quality? How do I get better results for clients? And if you come to me with some bullshit like, oh, this person said this about you, or this person talked shit on you, or this person gossiped about you, my brain goes like this. Does me responding to this get a better result for the client? No? Then I don't care. Now, by the way, do any of you ever feel frustrated when people shit talk you in this room?
Yeah.
You all do. You're just lying. Go do a Google search for Owen Cook someday, or a YouTube search for Owen Cook. The videos that get made about me, most of y'all couldn't sleep for a fucking month. But yet, I have all this shit that gets said, but all that you see is bigger mansions, sicker watches, better vacations. What is this thing that has inoculated me against all the shit talk over the years? What has been my secret shield of why my business grows and grows and grows every year, no matter what is ever said gossip-wise? It's the value to the client, right? If I'm able to add value to your life, you could hear something bad about me, and you'd say, well, I don't know. I mean, they say he's an asshole, but man, I watched this one video and I got $10,000 more a year. That's how you protect yourself from people shit-talking you. So you know how most people on aggregate sit there all day worrying about what people are saying about them? What does it mean if you are worried what people say about you? What does that mean? That means that deep down you know you're worthless. You feel exposed. You feel like it's true. That's why it bothers you. You have genuine doubts that you add value to society. If I say to you, you have pink hair, I'm like, you have pink, well, you actually do have purple hair. Okay, you have pink hair, you have pink hair, you have pink, he has no reaction, right? You have 9 legs. You have 9 legs. No reaction. Well, like if all that you do all day is thinking how to add value to your clients and to the world, and someone's like, you're a shithead bad guy, but the only thought in your mind is, how do I add value to clients? What's going to happen when someone shit talks you?
You just keep adding value to the client.
You're like, okay. You're like, well, to be honest, I kind of want to help you too, bro. Sound like you're having a bad day. You'll even see on occasion someone will like shit on me like in the comments or something, and I'll be like, hey man, I'd love to have you in the program. Come on out. Come and meet me, bro. Like, don't just sit at home all mad. Let's get some money. Let's build those social skills, man. Then you don't gotta sit at home making little mean comments anymore. You can get laid. Right? How many guys, like, right after having sex with some beautiful woman, are like, jump on the internet, like, this guy's, right? That doesn't, right? Come on, man. Let's heal the world here. Come out to an event. So that's all that my mind is thinking. So all that I'm thinking is like, here's like my brain. If you want to like enter into like the world of Owen, okay? This is what my brain sounds like. It's a combination of like Eckhart Tolle. I'm just super present. I'm just like, this is awesome, right? I'm like, this is so cool. Then I'm like thinking about shit that I just think is funny. And I'm like, like that. I think about funny shit, like just idiotic, like completely idiotic, funny shit. Just goes in my head. Then I'm thinking about like cool trips that I took. I'm like, that trip was awesome. And then I'm just like running through cool trips that I did, like places that I went, programs that I ran, seminars that I did. And I just like loop on that. Now, another one that's kind of weird. So sometimes if I'm dating a girl, she'll be like, you know, she'll ask me about my exes. And I'm like, I love all my exes. And they're like, yeah, but you don't like hate them. Like you guys are broken up now. I'm like, they're awesome. I love my exes, right? Why do you guys think that I love all my ex-girlfriends and every girl I've ever been with? And I still love them all, the same as when I was with them. But I'm not in love with them. But why do you think I love them the same? Dude, that shit was awesome. That was awesome. Think about all your badass exes that you had. You had great sex. You had some adventures. Yeah, it didn't end so good. Shit happens, right? But now the next one's coming. You know, it's like a movie that ended. Well, when's the next movie? Yeah, you know, the iPhone 12, you know. Well, the iPhone 13 came out. And the 14. And the 15. And the 16. And the 17. Before you know it, you're at iPhone 1500. iPhone 2000, iPhone 3000. Look, they're all great iPhones. You know, do you think back at your iPhone 6 mad at it? That was a great iPhone 6, man. Had some good times. I mean, honestly, that's how I feel. Like, I think about exes of mine all the, like, my exes, if you see them in my DMs and my things, they're all like I can literally pull out, like, exes of mine, like not even kidding, because I just love all my exes, and, like, it'll be like, now some of them are, like, a little mad at me, to be honest, because, like, you know, but, yeah, like literally right here, read what that says, like, from an ex of mine. Read the quote from her.
I just followed her. Thank you for always encouraging me to value myself and to use my time wisely. You're the literal goat of ex-boyfriends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's her. Okay. So, and she loves me, and we're public that we're exes, right? Like, you know, a lot of guys, you know, might be mad to have lost her out of their life, but she's amazing. I love her the same as when I was with her. We had a great time. I don't know. It's like. Did y'all like the movie Avatar? That's a badass movie, right? Then it ended. And then Avatar 2. The Aqua version. Right? You know, right? You know, right? Sometimes I'll have an ex-girlfriend and like her new boyfriend will think I'm trying to get with her. I'm like, I don't want to say this to the guy. I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, that's Avatar 1. I'm trying to get Avatar 3. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, that was a great movie. I loved it. It was awesome. And now the next Avatar. Like, I don't think back in the negative of a past relationship. You see where I'm going with this? All I'm thinking is like, I went to national parks, my kids came, my friends came, my ex was there, we had fun. Yeah, you know, I got a little salty at the end, but we had fun, right? I'm just thinking about fun shit that happened. It's your life, bro. It's God's gift of consciousness. You don't get those years back. So basically, this is my brain, okay? I'm either in the land of Eckhart Tolle, I'm just like looking around like in this like meditative state. I'm fucking conscious. This is crazy. You know, I'm like looking around, right? Then I'm thinking about like the dumbest, like literally just like the most lowbrow humor you've ever heard. Like, like you're just like, and I just think shit's funny. Like just like the dumbest noises and sound effects. Like just shit that to me is like so funny because I'm still at heart a 5-year-old, okay? So the shit that I thought was funny when I'm 5, I still think is hilarious now, okay? So it's like I'm present, I'm laughing, I'm thinking about girls I've been with or dated, I'm thinking about my kids, I'm thinking about you guys, I'm thinking about badass programs I ran, badass seminars that I did, badass clients that I've had, cool places that I want to go, and I'm just thinking this, and then I'm just thinking about like how to be a better marketer, better marketing angles, better sales angles, better public speaking angles, better new bits for seminars, new ways of teaching, new ways of provoking personal transformation, new methods that I could teach clients so they could do that. Yeah, that's like, you know, and then I'm just thinking about like girls that I think are hot, you know, like that's all I'm thinking about. That's it. That's why I have so much energy. Right? I'm not like, oh, thinking about the past. Oh, no, right? I'm just, all that I want to do is like grab my kids and go take some private plane to Alaska and just go fly around. Maybe throw some super dope party, meet a new girl. You know, throw a cool new free tour on the thing, make some badass speech. I'm just thinking about that. And so, in other words, I'm thinking about gratitude. Why do I think, how does me having gratitude help you guys as clients? What does it do? Take some guesses. Okay. You want to know, in my view, an example of what makes a great woman? There's many, many ways that can make a great woman, but one of them, a great woman, and again, there's many, many ways to be a great woman, but in my view, a great woman really spends time bringing the energy of love into her being. She's really made an effort to summon the energy of love into her. Okay, like love is this sort of magical energy, and she's made an effort to really bring love into her heart. And now she's a mother, she can emanate that love out to the baby. If she's a wife or girlfriend, she can nourish you or be a light to the people around her, right? So as a man, but I think this applies to women too. By the way, you can be a woman however you want, just so you know. I'm a man. What do I know? Okay, I'm just a man. Now, likewise, I'm just giving my hot take. Now, as a man, in my view, the more that you summon gratitude in your soul, really what you're doing is you're saying, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for my beautiful life. Thank you, God, for the gift of consciousness. Thank you, God, for this brief moment that I have. Thank you. So, you know, if you made someone a nice turkey dinner and you spent 2 days on it, would you want them to eat it and to enjoy it? So if God made the world, would God want you to enjoy your life, but also not just to be hedonistic, but to also push yourself and to go through challenges and to come out stronger, to add more value, to bring more light into the world? I think that the more that we have love and as cliche as it sounds, love, gratitude, and light within ourselves, the more that we have that inside of ourselves, we bring that in us, and then people feel that when they're around us. People are around you and they're like, I feel good around you. Like, I laugh when I'm around you. I feel happy when I'm around you. So you've got to be curating your consciousness on an ongoing basis, not with negativity and hatred. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus focuses on many major things, but one of the big things is forgiveness. You got to forgive people, right? What does being mad at someone mean, right? Rather than forgiving them, it means that you're holding them accountable for the satanic energy that's in them, and then what you're doing is you're reflecting it back at them and amplifying it. Right? Instead of having that amplifying circuit, you choose to forgive to stop that amplification loop, and then you can bring light to them. One of the greatest things you could ever do, call an enemy when they're having a low moment and help them. You want to get high, okay? You don't need weed. You want to get high? Think of the person that fucked you over the most and stabbed you in the back the most, and if ever in social media or through the grapevine you find out they had a hard time, give them a call and say, hey, you know, I know we had a little beef or whatever, but I see you're having a really hard time. This goes, look, little beef is nothing. Bro, or girl, you know, whatever, right? Little beef ain't shit. You're having a really hard time here. I want to be here for you. You know what they'll often say? They'll break down in tears and go, I always loved you. I was jealous of you. I always wanted to be your friend. I was mad. Like, you'll see it. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing. They'll confess that they really loved you the whole time. You'll see it. It's happened to me. You have no idea how many times. And it's like you will get a high off of that like nothing money can buy. It's like God shines down on you, like putting weight. You're like, oh, like it's like you dissolve the evil. It's the craziest thing that you've ever seen. You dissolve the evil. It's fucking crazy. Okay, so it's like you're a Care Bear. It's like you're a motherfucking Care Bear. So, right, just shooting the bad guy full of love and light, right, and rainbows. So, right, and it's a challenge to do that, to not be deceived by the evil. So you've got to groom in yourself this emanation of gratitude, of appreciation, of hilarity, like a 5-year-old, of like, the key to life, guys, is not just getting rich, it's getting rich and getting to be 5 years old. That's the key to everything. Like, you know what real rich is? When you can be an idiot with a beard like this. When you have this watch and this beard, you know you won. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because if you're balling out, but you got to wear a suit and tie and you have no choice, and you have to act in a certain way, and you can't be funny and you can't be spontaneous, and you have to suppress yourself. I mean, look at what Mark Zuckerberg looks like. Can you name a more broke man on this earth than Zuck? You know, doing a little MMA lately. He's actually kind of coming around, right? But some of those other billionaire top tech guys had the right mentor. So they knew how to act, right? And they're fucking cool as shit. But some of the other ones didn't have the right mentor. So look at how Zuck acts. Zuck never called me. Okay? Zuck. Come on, man. You don't got to have those bug guys, bro. Call me. Guys, I coach tons of these guys, okay? The top guys. And you see some of them, they become super cool. It's super fucking dope. Maybe they start fighting for free speech. They become super fucking cool. So what is the joy? It's getting to be yourself. Getting to talk how you want to talk. Maybe you hate Donald Trump. Maybe you hate the guy. But can you admit that guy just says where the fuck he wants? Even if you hate that, you can hate him. Hate the guy. Hate him all day. I don't care. Hate or like whatever politician. I don't give a shit. America, baby. Hate, love whatever politician you want. You got the right to do it. Cool thing about being American, you can hate your fucking leaders. You can talk shit on your leaders. This is what's cool about being American. Talk shit. Go for it. Enjoy your freedom. But, I mean, that motherfucker, like, does he say what the fuck he wants to say? Yeah. Right? Is he uptight? That's money. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can just walk in and be like, low energy Jeb Bush. You guys remember that? Like 2016? Yeah. Low energy Jeb. Low energy Jeb. Lying Ted Cruz. Bible high. And then he lies. You guys remember that? It's like he's a WWF character as a president, right? Can you imagine what could you buy with money that would be more fun than talking that much shit all the way to the US presidency? You know what I'm saying, right? Like, it's one thing to be the US president and be like, hello, everyone. I am the US president. I am very, right? But imagine getting to talk that much shit and you get to be the president. Like, come on, man. Like, money can't buy that, right? That's fucking fun. You know what? He had great speechwriters, okay? He had great fucking speechwriters. So there's a way to be successful being yourself. You see what I'm saying? There's a way to be successful being yourself. There's two different versions of that. And when you go within yourself and you get tapped into what really feels true to your soul, then you go back to being a 5-year-old. And what can happen is you start to really stand out. It's different than just being some stiff suit making money. Because see, you know when your soul gets extinguished? When you're doing shit that you hate and you're doing shit that's against your soul. You hate it. That's why the average person who hates their job looks like their candle has been extinguished, among other reasons too. Then it's the cycle of weed, processed food, and this whole cycle, right? And the commute and all this stuff. But every time that you say something that you didn't want to say, a little part of your soul dies, right? That's why the censors, are they really doing that because they believe that the American public are not adult enough that they can't handle some stupid ass idiot talking shit? Is that why they do the censorship? Like, if we were to meet those people in real life, would it be some like laid back person who's like, look, like, I was just worried that the American public, like, you know, they couldn't handle these mean, naughty words. That's why we wanted the whole country on eggshells for a decade. Is that what they would look like? Or would they look like some nasty little bug-eyed fuck who just wants to spread their Satanism into everybody else? They want everybody else to be like, and everybody be fucking scared, and no pressure release valve of comedy. No more comedy anymore. No pressure release valve. What's the purpose of comedy, guys? It's to joke about fucked up shit. It's to make a joke. It's to take shit that's fucked up that you shouldn't say, that stresses you because it is stressful and triggering, and then you say it anyway, but in a way that's hilarious, and then we all laugh, and it helps to release the tension around it. It's like forgiveness when you had a fight with somebody and then you go help them and then the tension just dissipates. When you can take something fucked up and make a joke about it and have a laugh, we can all laugh together, the tension around that dissipates and light comes into the world. People who don't want comedy, people who don't want free speech are trying to block the light of God, but claiming that they're doing the opposite. Out of any of you in this room, would any of you guys choose to not have to hear something fucked up but then you have to walk on eggshells the rest of your entire life? Would anyone choose that? Would the vast majority of people choose that? And yet that's where we're at. That's the darkness that enters the world. Likewise, take that same phenomenon of you not realizing how to be yourself. You not realizing how to get in touch with yourself. You not realizing how to connect your soul. And now you've just got to go do some shitty job that you fucking hate. You hate your job. You hate it. And then you go do that and it further dampens your soul. Now you start to resonate lower. And what kind of things do you consume when you resonate lower? What do you want to, when you resonate with bullshit, what do you start consuming?
Bullshit.
Toxic bullshit.
Yeah, and then you go into a cope and you're in a permacope. Say the word permacope. Okay, so you're in a permacope state, and via that permacope state, what happens is now you just want to go on autopilot so you can escape it, and you want to go numb so you can escape it. I remember when I obliterated my leg skiing, and I had a horrible surgery, and I was in a wheelchair for 4 or 5 months. I was in so much pain that my version of pleasure was just to not have to think. And I finally understood and had a firsthand experience of how the masses are. I'm like, oh shit, this is like the masses. They're in pain, they're disconnected from their soul, and they just want to numb out. They're broken. You know how I felt when I broke my leg? I was like, God, if I could just have my leg back and just walk and be out of pain, I wouldn't care if I just live the most average, boring life. I would just be a good little boy. I just want this pain to go away. It hurts so much. I just want the pain to go away. Like a refrigerator that hums and hums and hums and hums, and it hums so long that you can't hear it anymore, that low-level trauma that then gets amplified by you doing things that you don't want to do, amplifies and amplifies and amplifies. You get away from being connected to your soul, and as a result of that, you just hate your fucking life. You medicate yourself, you numb yourself, you try to go on autopilot, you don't even know who you are anymore. You're seeking to find some kind of identity in a tribe, and you lose your individuality, and you lose your soul. And you can have an entire society like that. Now, the sad part is, you would at least you would think that if the elites who make money off the system would be happy, at least somebody would be happy, right? I mean, hey, at least there's like 20 guys at the top that are pretty happy. But look at poor old Zuck. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Look what's happened to this man. Look at his eyes. Look deep, deep, deep into his eyes. Go look at these different CEOs of these big corporations, these big BlackRock-owned corporations. At least if they were happy, at least if they look like happy 5-year-olds, you'd say, well, you know what? We're like all their little modern-day slaves. But at least Zuck's having a good time. But no one's having a good time because it's a pimp-hoe dynamic. The hoe is miserable because she's bringing bad problems to the world, but the pimp is miserable too. It's a sub-dom relationship. The whole thing is sick and twisted. So to break out of that, you've got to get connected to your soul. You've got to figure out what really speaks to you. And what'll happen is when you go to work, when you come home, you're going to get a high off of it. You're going to come home and be like, that was fucking spiritual. That was fucking spiritual is how you're going to come home. You're going to like, I have for my whole career come home I've come home so high, I'm high as a kite. Sometimes I can't sleep. Like I'll run trainings and I'll just be sitting out there like, I don't know, say Las Vegas, right? And it's like 5 a.m. I've been running the training all night and the sun is up and I just sit there like looking at the sky. I'm like, that was fucking amazing. Like, can you fucking believe that shit? That was fucking amazing. And I'm just reflecting on the night and I don't want to sleep. I'm high. I don't want to go to bed. And I mentioned Vegas because then Vegas starts getting hot at like 6 a.m. The fucking sun starts beating down. You're like, fuck, I gotta go to bed, right? And you don't want to go to bed. You're in such a high. You don't want to go to bed. You're so high. That's how I am at the end of my day. I'm so high, I don't want to go to bed. And this is not a high like MDMA. That's a chemical that's putting Swiss cheese in your brain. And you're getting high because it's destroying you. This is a high from God. A high that is given to you by your creator because you're manifesting that positivity into the world. You're spreading, you're a channel now, not some weird like, psychic 900 line hotline channel. But what I mean is like, you're just a pragmatic day-to-day regular Joe, regular day-to-day Jane, who's just Channeling, something that anybody can do. Not something for like some spiritual seer, 1 in a million special person who's better than everybody. No. What I'm trying to point you at here, any random fuckhead can do. I am a random fuckhead and a spiritual channel. You see what I'm getting at here? I'm a random derping fuckwad who can channel. When I say that I'm a random derping fuckwad that can channel, what do I mean? That we are random derping fuckwads that can channel. Okay? It's not like, I am a channel. Look at me. Now sit at the feet of the channel and receive your channeling. No, you're not hearing me. You are the channel. We are the channel. If you're a human being, you're a channel. You're a radio tower. You're tuning into a certain frequency and broadcasting and amplifying it. The question is, whose channel is it? Oh, there's your fucking question. What channel is it? And if you know some piece of shit negative fuck in your life who needs a little extra love, who are they tapped into? Okay? So it depends what channel it is, okay? What channel you're tuned into. So you've got to actively tune in your channel. Well, how do you actively tune the channel? What you do is, step one, say this after me, presence. Presence. Do all you guys know that? You all read The Power Now, Eckhart Tolle shit? Yes. Eckhart Tolle. You know that OG? Eckhart, I want Eckhart to watch this shit, right? Imagine Eckhart, like, you know that Eckhart Tolle? That OG's like, quite the characters watching my work. I've inspired a range of people. You know that, pimp. Eckhart. So, okay, you know the OG Eckhart. Who here hasn't read Power of Now? Put your hand up if you haven't read it. Okay, read that shit, okay? Read the fuck. I've read that hundreds of times. A New Earth, Power of Now. Okay, then you can go into, later you go in the Tao Te Ching. You get in the Bible. The Gospel's the best. Gospel's the best, but it sometimes can be a little hard to understand. So I give you a framework. So then what'll happen is, of course, if you're in a cult, you're only allowed to read one thing, right? But if you actually read the Bible because you love it, not because you're in a cult, then you can learn about spirituality. Now, from there, presence is the first one. So when you're present to the moment, you are, basically what you're doing is you are deconditioning the pain body. Say that. Deconditioning the pain body. I like it, okay? So when you get present, you're not activating the pain body and in reaction to the pain body. That, what it's like is, it's like a cup, right? Like if I drank this whole little coconut juice, now God can come in. But if it's filled with a bunch of thoughts, there's no space. So when you get present, you're tuning in. The next one is gratitude. Say that. Gratitude. So gratitude is saying, hey, thanks, buddy. Thanks, Dad. So it's like, okay, well then give more, right? You're saying, so like one of my spiritual mentors said to me, you say, how can it get any better than this? Say that. How can it get any better than this? So in other words, it's like my mentor, Glenn Ackerman, would always tell me to say that, right? It's like, shit's awesome, right? Like this is awesome. How can it get any better than this? Say that. How can it get any better than this? Yeah, in other words, it's like, this is the shit, and how can it be more the shit? By the way, do you guys see how divergent this is from the average derper on the street, how they're thinking? Like, do you see how even me saying this is getting you more in state? Like, just being a bit more present, and then just being like, we're winning. This is awesome. I'm conscious. I love my life. This is the shit. Your mind starts waking up, and then you start tapping into your soul. Okay, so how can it get any better than this, right? Now, notice how even when I mention the derpers, you start to feel sad. You see that? Just looking at derpers makes you sad, right? You know what I'm saying? You think about the derping, it makes you feel sad. Okay, you're like, and then you're like, why the fuck aren't all of them in this room? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be this room with me, but just maybe it could be with you guys. You know what I'm saying? But like, we got to spread the vibe here. So, what's the first one? What is it? Presence. What's the second one? G, starts with G. Presence. Excellent. Okay, now from there, humor. Say humor. Humor. Okay, so in other words, if you want to be a gangster with making millions of bucks, you should be laughing your way all to the bank. All the way to the bank, you're laughing your fucking ass off. So I work better, not when I'm pissed off, but when I am laughing and when I think the shit I'm doing is hilarious. So I always say I'm a lazy motherfucker and I never work. And the reason why that is because when I'm working, I'm present, I'm in gratitude, and I'm laughing. Now, here's the issue that a lot of people don't get, okay? What winds up happening is that most people, unless they're in pain, they don't want to work. So as soon as they feel happy and in gratitude and present, what's the first thing that triggers for them as far as work? They just stop, right? Because they think they've arrived. No. You ever been in state out at the club and you're talking to people, and because you're in state, you just want to talk to even more people?
Yes.
That's how you want to work. It's like 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4. But it's not greed. It's like, fuck, this is awesome. Like, just build more shit, make more shit, more marketing, more sales. It's like when the Golden State Warriors were winning all those championships, and you just see Steph and Clay and Draymond, and they're just high-fiving each other, and they're having fun, and they're playing for the joy of the dance. There's a book called Tribal Leadership where they say that the highest level of leadership is you're not competing against people on your team, who's the best on your team. You're not competing against the people on the other team. You're just playing for the joy of the dance. Like back in the day when my company was just dominating in the whole social skills space, and you'd see all these other companies would be talking all this shit, like, fuck those guys, they suck. And we'd all be like, yo, where are we going tonight? What club are we going to? Who's that girl you're dating? Where are we flying to? Right? So it's always like that. The higher vibration group is just winning, making meals, socializing, out in nature, flying around, going to restaurants, chalicing at the wit of life. And then everybody else, like, they're like scammers. Like, they're like evil. Like, they're bad. Like, there's no validity in what they're doing. People that like them are just sheep, and so on and so forth. And then the winning team's just having fun. The winning team's just jacking up half-court shots, like backwards, just like, and it just flies in. It just, nothing but net, baby, just goes in. You just can't stop. You're like on this like endless winning streak. It's like this unbroken boulevard of green lights. It's just green light, 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 and you just keep winning, okay? You're gonna keep winning and winning. You'll start winning so much, you'll be like, Owen, I can't handle winning anymore. I can't. You're going to win so much you get sick of winning. I'm sick of winning. I'm sick of it, and I will make you win. Okay? You ever heard that one? Okay? So you win so much you get sick of winning. Winning builds winning, 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 builds winning. Right? And that's the kind of, you don't want to be a derper. You want that kind of psychology. You want just winning. Like I often say, there is only winning. Like often I'll just talk to like my clients or my kids. I'm like, there is only 1,000 out of 10. There is only 1,000 out of 10. There is nothing but 1,000 out of 10. It's like in spiritual growth, they'll say, what is the galaxy? Or like, what is the world? The world is on top of turtles. What's underneath the turtle? More turtles. What is underneath those turtles? More turtles. And what is under those turtles? Turtles all the way down. What is there? 1,000 out of 10. And what is there on top of 1,000 out of 10? More 1,000 out of 10. And what is there on top of that 1,000 out of 10? 1,000 out of 10. All the way down. Nothing but 1,000 out of 10. What does that mean? Guys, it's the gift of consciousness. You're alive. You live in this sterile galaxy of rocks and gases, and you woke up. And it's like, what are you gonna do with this? Like, derp, like, fuck this, this guy said this shit about me, and I hate my job. And like, it's like, come on, bro. You won. You already, like, you're trying to win the lottery. You won the lottery, man. You won the motherfucking lottery. You don't need to win the You don't need to win the Powerball. You are the Powerball. You don't need to win the Powerball. You are the Powerball. So when you know that you're the Powerball, be the Powerball. 1,000 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10. All the way down. You're just winning, okay? And then things come up. You face them, you learn from them, you take the lesson, you make adjustments, and then you keep winning. And then you take some losses, no big deal, because the loss is the win, because the loss is you just moving, and it's just guiding you. The loss is just guiding you. Like, oh, that didn't work. I don't like that. Thank you for the guidance. 1,000 out of 10. Oh, I did that approach, didn't go anywhere. Thank you for the feedback. 1,000 out of 10. Oh, you tried that project, you tried to build something, it didn't sell. No big deal. Thank you for the lesson. 1,000 out of 10. It's all 1,000 out of 10. When I broke my leg and I was in extreme pain for several months, and I had to learn to meditate through extreme pain, and I believed I was potentially never going to walk again, and I had to learn how to have a dating life from a wheelchair and all that, 1,000 out of 10. And it taught me things. And guys, we can look at my story like, and then I got out of the wheelchair, And it was all awesome. And I got the lesson of being in the wheelchair and learning all my social skills from the wheelchair and doing seminars from the wheelchair and confronting my fear that I could never walk in. But then I did walk again and it all worked out. But here's what you don't realize. Even if I had never walked again, what would that have been?
1,000 out of 10.
That's right. You were with me walking down the street outside with the wheelchair. Did I ever let it beat me down?
Never.
Never let it beat me down. I never looked upset. I'm just like, same thing, 1,000 out of 10. What does that mean? Even in a wheelchair, what is it?
1,000 out of 10.
Even in a wheelchair, what is it?
1,000 out of 10.
That's right, because you're gonna go crush it from the wheelchair. Do you understand? That's the next adventure. It's all an adventure until you die, and then you go to the next dimension. And then it's like, what is that out of 10? Repeat it to me. No, it's infinity out of 10. Say that.
Infinity out of 10.
So what is it when you die?
Infinity out of 10.
What is it when you even die?
Infinity out of 10.
What is it when you die?
Infinity out of 10.
So then life is 1,000 out of 10, and death is infinity out of 10. Then what do we have for this bullshit of like 2 out of 10? It's all 1,000 out of 10 until that stops, and then you die, and then it's infinity out of 10. So it's all gazillions and gazillions of out of 10, upon 1,000 out of 10, upon infinity out of 10, all the way down. That's your basic level mind state. And then that shows in the way that you eat at a restaurant. That shows the way that you say hi to the clerk at the hotel. It shows how you say hi to the Uber driver. It shows how you talk to a waiter. It shows how you walk through a park. It shows how you walk down the street. This is what real money is, by the way. Okay? This is the shit money can't buy. It's called your fucking soul. And it ain't for sale. Except for some people it is. And you got to take it back. And that's the 1,000 out of 10 and the infinity out of 10 all the way down. So now that's like your basic level psychology. And then from that level psychology, then what you do is you're working with and you have other friends who are like-minded. And then those people are building things and they're creating projects, dating cool people. Maybe you have a breakup. Hey, it was great. Avatar 1, iPhone 6. I love Avatar 1. I love iPhone 6. Maybe I could have just watched Avatar 1 forever, but I'm cool to see another movie too. I love my iPhone 6. I'm cool to keep it, but if I lose it, we get the iPhone 7. Before you know it, you got the iPhone 16. Life goes on, right? And we take lessons from it, and we keep it fucking moving. And whenever I've allowed myself to deviate from that, I've learned a lesson, and the lesson is don't deviate from that. So imagine if you just keep your thought process right there, that you value your time, you value your life, you value your soul, you're connected to what you're good at, and then you spend all that time bullshitting and derping around. And imagine if you spent all that time, again, building your craft, sharpening the motherfucking saw, learning sales, learning marketing. Put your time there, and then with that extra time, laughing, having fun, traveling, going on adventures, doing cool shit, and enjoying your life. That's what life should look like. That's the 1,000 out of 10. That's the infinity out of 10 all the way down. And imagine if you just shifted out of where you've been into the kind of paradigm that I'm talking about here. And all these people that are like in this trance, they're in a fucking trance. It's like a hell trance. It's a demonic, satanic trance. A sick, demonic trance of fear-based shit. You know, CNN 2020, racking the death toll. Oh, you know, some like 99-year-old woman who had a car accident also died of COVID-19. Rack up the thing, you know, right? And it's like, and everyone's like, and all this kind of shit, right? And people are mad at each other, and people talk shit. People feed off of pain body like a fucking feeding. You ever seen when people all start shit-talking each other, and it's like a literal vampiric feeding a pain body? But you see how we can do the opposite here, and we can go into 1,000 out of 10 trance, and suddenly we, almost like the opposite of a vampire, but like a Care Bear, we start building better vibes. And notice how even in the trance induction that we've gone into here, you suddenly want to go to work. You're like, I want to quit my job. I want to go to work. I want to do cool shit. I want to have fun. I don't approach anxiety. I'm not depressed. I want to go do cool stuff. I want to live my life. I'm grateful. Thank God. How much time do I have left? Let's enjoy this shit. And then that puts you into action. Don't be one of the derpers where as soon as you get the happiness that we're talking about here, then you just stop. You're like, oh, I made it. Like, you know, the only thing that matters, that you're happy. No. That is a very important thing. That is a foundation to go do cool shit. Happiness is the baseline. Look, coping, Baseline from coping to thriving, the continental divide between the two, thriving. People in coping think that if they get to baseline, that that's the end. No. Once I'm in the zone, it's like what new dragons to slay, what new things to build, what new legacy to craft, what new people to meet, what new adventures to go enjoy. That's how I'm thinking. I'm a natural adventurer. I naturally don't want to sit at home. I feel myself dying when I'm sitting at home. I am dying. I don't want to be dying. I want to go live. I want to play. I am 5. I am a 5-year-old. Okay? Look, I have a 5-year-old. If I bring my 5-year-old in here, I promise you, you see the look in his pupils, the sparkle in his eyes. No amount of money is worth more than that. You will not find a billionaire who has more riches than my 5-year-old Tristan. You will not find it. You can't. Search the galaxy far and wide. You shall not find it. There is no chance that you will find it. He has all the riches in the world. Now, because he's that happy, is he a low energy kid? No, he's a high energy kid. All he does, he says, I want to go to the museum. I want to go to the zoo. I want to go to the aquarium. I want to go to the beach. I want to go hiking. I want to go explore. That's what he wants to do. So from that state, does that make him into a derper who's lazy? Or does that make him want to go explore and take on new challenges? Does he see a playground and go, oh, I don't want to get up and run on the playground? We talk about kids having more energy than adults. Kids don't have more energy than adults. That is categorically not true. I promise you that my 5-year-old does not have more physical stamina than you do. But what does a kid have more? What kind of energy does a kid have more? What kind? Mental energy, spiritual energy, right? They want, like, if I'm with Tristan, I can play a game with him where I say, okay, you're gonna run to that pole and then run back. And he's like, yeah! And he runs to the pole and runs back, right? And he's cheering. I could make videos about this like all day. He loves it. He's like, now we're gonna run to he's like, where am I gonna run to next? Where am I gonna run to next? I'm like, you're gonna run to that thing over there, that wall, touch it and run back. He's like, yeah! And he'll go do it, right? So him being in that mode, he's a 5-year-old. He has a smaller body. He has less physical stamina than an adult does. But he will appear to have endless energy because he's in that mode. But from that mode, he doesn't space out and derp out and want to be lazy. He wants to do more. He wants to know what other adventures he can have. So see, for me, once I got to the point that I have enough cash, I can do what I want, I didn't just sit at home. I want to go on adventures. I want to use that money to have adventures. I want to use that money to go do a free event. Create something. So that's the mode that I'm trying to put you in, is we can be in the same way that you see people that like vampirically get off on like shit talking and being afraid and pumping fear in the media and us versus them. You can actually have like a true addiction and a true receiving of that good energy and then pouring that out of the opposite of that negative energy, of apathy, of negativity, of us versus them, but of togetherness, of building, of adding value and connecting to your soul. And you can actually get actively addicted to that, okay? But what you have to do is you have to begin to shift your brain. You have to actively use, repeat this after me, focus, or repeat after me, beliefs. Beliefs. Say the words beliefs again, beliefs. Beliefs. Focus. Focus. Physiology. Physiology. Okay, so what's the first one?
Beliefs. Focus. Physiology.
So beliefs is that you believe in abundance. You believe in the gratitude that you have of the world, okay? Focus is I focus on gratitude, on having fun, on connecting to my gifts, on sales, on marketing, and so on and so forth. Then physiology is actual movement. Moving around actually makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. So the way that you use your body, the way that you use your voice also gives you energy. If I come here and I use my voice, that will give me a ton of energy. So then we use that, and then what that does is it creates positive reference experiences because you're doing the right things, which is actually a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it goes like this: beliefs, focus, physiology, self-fulfilling prophecy because you're so positive that awesome shit happens. Reference experiences, which then feeds what? Beliefs. The beliefs, right? So go repeat after me: beliefs, focus, physiology, self-fulfilling prophecy. Reference experiences. Feeds your beliefs. So it's this loop, right? So a lot of people are in a negative loop of that, which is like they believe the world sucks, then they focus on shit that sucks, then their physiology sucks, then they get a bad result. because self-fulfilling prophecy, and then further confirmation negativity. And by the way, they're addicted to it. And what I'm not going to get into here is I believe that they have a negative energy parasite actually above their base consciousness. Like they are not even accessing who they are. There's this parasite that to stay alive needs to keep feeding that and is actually blocking out anything positive because the parasite doesn't want to die. It's basically what Eckhart Tolle would call the ego, but I would go a little bit deeper in my conceptualization of that. But in effect, there's this false self that can only live with grievance, negativity, pain body, recognizing the other because of victimization and so on and so forth. And then the whole society feeds food to that parasite and then basically creates media to that parasite, distracting stuff to that parasite, drugs for that parasite, and it just feeds the parasite. And then the parasites are all feeding each other and co-enabling each other. And you see actually society becoming like that. And that's where you get all this like 2020 garbage and all this other stuff. It's basically that like that paradigm had a trajectory to it. It had a momentum to it. And so it's inevitable that shit gets super fucked up. And by the way, 2020, you got to understand, that's not like the penultimate pinnacle of that paradigm. That's just the opening salvo. Oh, it's going to get way crazier than 2020. I mean, it's going to get way, way crazier. So yeah, so you need to understand that what's at stake, your state of consciousness is contributing to that dynamic or is helping that dynamic. And so, you know, we have to proactively have a human awakening project that proactively helps to shift that. The problem is the function that church used to serve and still does. There's great churches out there, but look, we're even sitting here in Houston, Texas right now, which has some of the best churches. Who here actually goes to church most weeks? You see that? And we're in Houston, Texas right now, okay? So what function would church have? And look, the churches that are still there, what they do is beautiful, and I appreciate it, but what function would that have served had that remained mainstream? What are the good parts of what that would have served?
Reflection.
What else? Gratitude, community, right? It would actually help you with dating, find other good people. What else? Principles, but also creates a high vibe environment once a week. Do you understand how healthy that would be to have a God-based, high vibration environment once a week? But now all of a sudden we get into fights over did Noah's Ark happen or not? Or did is a gay guy going to hell or not? Which I think is absolute such bullshit. And so on and so forth, right? So it's like getting in all these fights of like who's even allowed to go to church or who's not, and all this crazy shit. And what happens is that it gets hung up on that, no longer mainstream, and now people don't have that once a week experience of actually getting tapped in. Imagine if, and I can't do this, but imagine if like, and it wasn't just me up here speaking, but it was other speakers like this, and it was events that were far much deeper than this event here, and you had an event like that once a week, what your life would look like. Can you imagine that? Imagine if all society had that, right? So you know what's funny about this? I don't even like that what I do is a business. I want to get out of running this as a business. I want to run this something closer to a church. Like, I think that this kind of stuff is so important that money should not even be charged for it. It's that life or death. Like, it's an essential service. Like, in the same way that you wouldn't charge money for water, I'm not saying me personally, but things of this general subject matter in this general direction, this should not be a fucking luxury. Okay, this is life or fucking death. This is societal breakdown or societal thriving. And in society, there's more and more ways for us to harm ourselves and more chaos and AI and all this stuff. We've got to get back to this, right? But in the meantime, you work with what you got, right? So here we are, okay? So in other words, what I'm trying to get at you is the mode that I'm pushing you into here, if I can take you into somewhat of a euphoric mode just by talking to you and shifting your focus and your beliefs and your physiology a little bit, what do you think is also happening when there's everywhere that you go, it's negative, 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 negative? What do you think is happening to society as a whole?
It's degrading.
Yeah, I mean, you walk down the street, people are just spaced off their fucking mind, right? So I understand that's a bit depressing, but we also have to confront where we're at. So then you have to say to yourself, is this too big of a problem to fix, or do I believe in myself? And while you can't just wave a magic wand and change the whole world, everyone has their own unique and infinitely important role to play. And so you can choose to play your role in that process. But see, the kind of spirituality that I believe in is not a passive spirituality entirely, although I do believe in meditation, I do believe in being in nature and things like that. But I also believe that it's an active spirituality in replicating our creator. What is the impulse of our creator? What is our creator? What is that impulse? What's the base level impulse of our creator?
Create more.
It's love and creation. So we have to love unconditionally and we have to create, right? So unconditional love which is talks about in the Gospels and in the Sermon on the Mount, but also creation and creating things, but not being a derper who just, makes $1 billion making some kind of poisonous fast food or cigarettes, but connecting to your soul, because your soul is that little piercing in the veil from the spiritual realm to the physical realm, and letting that little piercing of the veil that moves through your soul to move outwardly and then to add value to people. Things like sales and marketing are ways of relaying that value to other people, to help them to understand it and to relate to where they're at. If you've got something good to give and you can add value to them, then you owe it to them to also spend a lot of time studying sales and marketing. But you also want to spend time in nature, getting in touch with who you really are and getting in touch with what you're here to do. So it's not just about work. It's not about nature. It's not about grind, hustle, grind. It's not about meditate, right? It's about meditation or nature or spirituality as a foundation to connect yourself, to connect to your creator, connect to God, connect to the right energy. Bring that love, that creation in yourself, that energy in yourself, and then to spend time not just thinking about me, and then being in a derp state and in a contracted, tight state, but rather to be in an expanded state and to add value to others. And in doing so, maybe you don't make, $5 trillion by making some garbage that puts the masses more to sleep. Okay, fine. But you make the right amount of money. You know what you'll find? You'll make the exact amount of money that is true to your soul. You'll see this. Okay, modern society, for all its instabilities, currently is stable enough that if you just connect to what you're truly passionate about, but then you combine that with business models, marketing, looking at other business models and how it would work, marketing, sales, social media, personal branding, and you combine it with those things, and you really tap into what you love, and then you sharpen the motherfucking saw. So you're always getting better and better at it. And then remember what I talked about as well. Laughing, having gratitude, clowning, having fun, stacking wins, stacking small wins, controlling your beliefs, focus, physiology. And you're doing all that, and that's where you put your focus. Instead of being a derper, sky is the motherfucking limit. Truly, sky is the motherfucking limit. Truly. It is winning upon winning upon winning. Do you ever feel like sometimes we forget how to win? You ever feel like sometimes it's like you've been losing so long, we can't remember how to win anymore?
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes, you need a little leprechaun man to come on in here and remind you how to fucking win again. Okay? Okay, what's that? Thank you, brother. Right? It's like, you got to get in here and you got to be like, look, you got to remember to start winning again, right? And sometimes, you can start to forget who you are. You just literally forget who you're, who the fuck, you almost come out of trance. You're like, I fucking forgot who I am, man. What the fuck? You ever have a really bad breakup and you're just so down? And then you just snap, and then one day you just snap out of it, you're like, who the fuck am I? What the fuck? Look, she's awesome. I love her to death, but okay, Avatar's over, bro. Avatar 2. I love it. Doesn't mean you hate Avatar 1. Avatar 1's the classic. You know what I'm saying? It's a motherfucking classic. Right? Certified. That's the shit. As is Avatar 2. And looking forward to Avatar 3. How can it get any better than this? Okay? So that's the loop of the mind, just allowing, and still taking lessons, still taking time to pause and to reflect, or, sometimes it's okay to feel bad for a minute, to reflect, but then from there, that feeling bad should not become systemic and an addiction and rewire the synaptic pathways in your brain and make an identity out of it and put you into a negative loop of negative self-fulfilling processes, but you keep driving it up. So, look, I learned a lot of this from social skills, because when you go out to a bar or club and you're socializing, you've got to always be driving up your state. You're just driving it up. And I realized that same principle applies in day-to-day life. You want to be connecting to your soul, figuring out what your gifts are, talking to other people about what your gifts are, going to nature to figure out what your gifts are. Don't just pick some random hobby that no one would like. Look, I like to ski, but no one's going to pay me for that. So pick one of your gifts that other people want something from. Talk to friends about it. Audit it massively. Go very, very, very deep on that. Stay in a state of gratitude and upward momentum and laughter and joy and action. Massive action. Say that word, massive action. Massive action. Stay in that massive action. Take times to pause, to reflect, to meditate, to slow down, take days off, go to the Russian banya, go to the spa, chill out, reconnect yourself. That's what sleep is for. That's what rest is for. Have periods of rest, have periods to recharge and replenish and to figure out where, to think, to have vision, to find vision. Vision quest. You ever heard of vision questing? Yeah, vision quest just means, get, whether it could be in your fucking bedroom, could be in nature, could be wherever, right? But you really you still the mind and you go into complete stillness and you just see what's coming out, right? You reconnect, Sometimes you go to a Russian banya, it's like super hot sauna, cold plunge. You just sit there and you're like, and your life is kind of flashing before your eyes a little bit, and you're realizing where you've forgotten who you are. You realize where you've forgotten your purpose, and you just feel it go clink like that. And you go, oh, right? And you kind of like reconnect to it. And you're like, no. This is what I fucking care about. And it's about your purpose and your legacy. But remember, purpose and legacy to build a better world means that you're also helping other people to be more prosperous and happy, but you should also be more prosperous and happy. So that also means you going on baller vacations, or you going on a camping trip, or you having fun, or you doing cool stuff, or you meeting someone that you want to go have a romantic adventure with, or a romantic life with, and so on and so forth, right? So it's also about you having fun. Like, one of the most important things I taught my kids is just how to have fun, right? I don't want them just on the internet all day. I want them to actively go and have fun. I teach them, no, like, pick an adventure for yourself and go do it. So what I'm gonna get you guys to do, okay, as an exercise, I want you guys as this exercise, okay? This will be kind of the wrapping of this segment. Then I'm gonna do a social skills segment. It's gonna be super sick, okay? But it's gonna be really good. So get excited, because if you like this, we're gonna go social skills. You know that I know a thing or two about social skills, so it's gonna be really awesome, okay? But the thing is, take a moment right now and chat with your friends and talk about what you think your purpose and what you're truly great and passionate about is. Like, talk about that and really go deep on it, okay? Then think about what marketing books you might want to look at, what sales materials that you want to look at. Think about what adventures that you want to go have, things that drive you, things that are cooler than just talking shit and smoking weed, okay? What drives you forward? What adventures that you want to go have? What kind of family do you want to have? You want kids? What do you want your kids' life to be like? How do you want to show up for your friends? How do you want to show up for other people? What selfish things do you want to do? It's okay to be a little bit selfish, not the me of being in a derp state, but you contributing something and then maybe going to a super sick restaurant, a super sick vacation, going like, yo, I accomplished something, and now this is a moment to reflect, right? Even things like a nice car, a nice watch, they're meaningless if you're just some rich kid. But if you're somebody who really stretched yourself to your limit, and maybe you bought a beautiful watch to commemorate, because watches hold their value for the most part. You can resell them later anyway, right? So it's just like a little investment just to remind yourself what you built. I don't know if you guys know that. Fancy watches, they generally hold their value, right? You go buy like a Rolex, AP, Patek, they tend to hold their value, right? So maybe you did this huge project. You just bought a cool watch. You had the extra money. You could afford it. It was nothing. You bought it, right? And then you wear it, and every time you look at it, it's a reminder of what you built, and you could resell it anyway, probably at a profit a lot of times if the watch market went up. So it doesn't even matter, right? That's beautiful prosperity. That's the beautiful version of prosperity. Not the kind where you got a bunch of free shit. Not the kind where you're a victim and you demand the government gives it to you. Not the kind where you say that, oh, my life has been hard and I feel entitled for other people to give me things. But something that you built, and now, as you come home to that beautiful home that you built, and you sit in your home that you and your family have built together, and you know what you went through to do that, and you know the value that you added to other people's lives to build that. So that home, that car, that watch, that vacation is spiritual to you. It's profound. You know how people say it's not about the money? Is that true from the paradigm that we're talking about here? Or can money have deep spiritual meaning the way that we're talking about here?
Yes.
Right? Money can have a spiritual meaning in the way that we're talking about here, right? Look, if you're some famous movie actor and then you just run around banging hoes all day, that's just called sex addiction. What if you're somebody who's like, maybe not the best looking guy, shy, social anxiety, barely can get out of your shell, and you force yourself through great fear, and you had great courage to go and talk to people, and you finally met a girl that you liked, and you guys wound up having a little adventure. That's a very different experience where you push yourself through countless rejections, frustrations, and now you had a success. That's such a different experience than, being some celebrity with a sex addiction, okay? I remember I was with MySpace Tom. I was giving him a little coaching, And I met Justin Bieber at Vodaspa in LA. But Bieber's always at Vodaspa, and Tom knows Bieber. And we're all chatting. And Bieber was like, man, my pastor told me I got to stop getting laid. I got to get a wife. Well, Bieber knew that when he's just having sex with all those girls, that wasn't helping him spiritually, right? And so he wound up marrying now Hailey Bieber. Now, hilariously, the pastor that told him to do that, who was that? It was Carl Lentz, the biggest fuckboy on the block. So that guy was secretly cheating on his wife. So it's actually the whole thing was bullshit. But look him up. It's hilarious. It's like the fuckboy pastor. It's fucking hilarious, okay? Joe Rogan's looking at him. He's like, he's got a dick root. He's like got like lower abs. It's super funny. But anyway, but nonetheless, Bieber had, probably some kind of sex addiction. So for him, it was spiritual to not have sex, right? But is that the same thing as some guy who's like deep-rooted self-hate, never in state, crushing social anxiety, profoundly lonely, and then he goes out and he talks to people and he gets a date? Is that the same thing? Right? So in the same way, just some rich guy who just has all this free money, maybe a rich kid, has no spiritual contacts, and only cares about money and spending because they're so disconnected from source. That's very different from someone who comes up lower class or middle class, or even somebody upper class but wants to really build something, and you push yourself and you dig deeper. And in order to maintain your energy through this process that is going to require you to marshal 1,000 times more focus and energy than a regular derper emits, right? And to do that, you have to be spiritual. You have to tap in. Not to go build some, venture capital-based cigarette company, but something that's true to your soul, and it adds to the world, and it brings value to the world, and then it forces you to think about how to help other people and how to relate that to other people and how to connect that to other people. That is one of the most powerfully spiritual journeys that you can possibly have. Much more spiritual than just sitting there as a derper thinking that you're better than everybody else because you don't care about cash. Mostly thinking about yourself and lying to yourself, and then using spirituality as an excuse not to take action to make yourself better and make the world better. So that's the kind of capitalism that I'm in love with, which is the kind of capitalism that's connected to your soul, the kind of capitalism that's connected to social good, and the kind of capitalism where you're being paid in proportion to the value that you're giving. Okay, the kind of capitalism where, I run a coaching business, but who do you know who's done more free events? Do you know how beautiful that is for me that I can make money and then go put on, do you realize what it normally costs to be in like a high-level personal growth seminar with the tickets of that normally is? It's about $5,000 for a good one. And you can be, and imagine one in a group this size. And yet you can come here, I'm able to give you guys a free event to record that, pay my own money to have a camera team and post it and record it. I can bring that in and post it so that I can help to change someone's life. But then also I build a coaching business in the process too. Do you know what that's like? Do you know how fucking amazing that is? Do you know how incredible that is? And then you see who you've affected. Like any of you guys remember my favorite video games? What's some of my favorite video games? You guys remember? God of War is one of them, right? Horizon another one, right? I'm teaching and training. A guy comes up to me, he goes, yeah, I'm one of the main programmers of God of War. I was inspired by you when I made God of War. I'm like, well, no wonder I liked it. Okay? You see where I'm going with this, right? So when you build, what'll happen is you start building in your 20s, and when you hit your 40s, all these little seeds that you planted, like you'll get a phone call from some of the richest people in the world, like, yeah, way back in my 20s, you helped me, I want to meet you. You're like, no way. Like, you're serious, right? Like, you can't imagine the people who just, if you've been working and helping people since your 20s, you start to hit later in life, it's almost like when Kobe had his retirement tour and everyone just loved Kobe even though he sucked, right? Well, he was injured. He was amazing for his injury, right? He was just brutally injured, still playing. So it's incredible what he did. He scored 60 points his last game. But, talk about spiritual. You want to see something spiritual. Watch Kobe go score 60 in his final game. But, injured off his mind. But the point being, I cried my eyes out when I saw that. You could see God moving through him. It's beautiful. So what I'm saying is, you go create things and it comes back to you in a million ways. Right? You can give freely and also get paid to give too. And I can show you whole systems for that. It's like certain things you give for free, other higher level things, people have more of an exchange with you, but there's an excess of value and now the cup runneth over and you're giving. So you can be a giver and receive too. And then as you receive, maybe you go buy organic food, maybe you buy high-end supplements, you do things to recharge yourself, you do things that connect you to your spirit, and now you can give even more. That's, to me, the better version of this crazy world that we see outside. That's where things have to shift, and that's a component that we don't even talk about in the modern day school system. And we've got to start getting into that, not just putting people in like the Rockefeller school system, the whole, Jekyll Island, if you know about all that stuff and all this crazy world, right? But instead what you do is you start thinking a little bit beyond that, and it's absolutely possible. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to talk with each other for about 2 minutes. Because I just want you to pause and contemplate and take 2 minutes to talk to each other. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do a social skills training with you guys that's gonna be so next level. The shit that I'm gonna show you is gonna be so next level and practical, but I wanted to give you a sort of meta level speech here. So take the time to talk to each other about what you learned and where you wanna go and what you're gonna make out of your fucking life. Okay? So take that time right now. We'll be back in about 2-3 minutes, so make it quick. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, lock in.